Hi, Kendall. In this video series, we're going to learn how to make a leichter. Yes, you're going to make your own leichter in 3D. The only requirements are you need to have a computer that's connected to the internet, so ask your mommy and Tati if they can connect to the internet, and you're going to need to have a regular keyboard and a mouse with a scroll wheel. It doesn't need to be this fancy schmancy mouse, but yeah, any mouse that has a left click, right click, and a scroll wheel will be good for this. All right, Kendall, get yourself ready, and let's move on with the lesson. Alright, Kendall. You're going to see we're on a website called TinkerCad. TinkerCad is really cool. It allows you to do, like you're seeing the, animation here. You can make cool 3D stuff, and at the end of this course, I'm going to show you a way to prepare it for print and print your own real-life piece that you could have yourself. So let's just get in. First thing you got to do is sign up. If you sign up, you're going to go to Create Personal Account, and then either sign in with Google or sign in with Apple, depending on your computer. I use sign in with Google. I already have an account, so I'm just gonna sign in. Once you have that, it sets you up an account, and you're gonna see this loading screen. Just give it a moment. And then you'll come to a screen like this. Yours is gonna look different. You're probably gonna have nothing over here, and you're not gonna have any designs over here if it's your first time. I have been doing this for a while, so I have a lot of stuff here. But this is what you're going to do. You're going to go over here, this little blue tab where it says New. Click on New, and then it'll give you three options: code block, circuit, 3D designs. We'll make some videos in the future so you could learn about circuits and code blocks. Right now, we're just going to go to 3D designs. Now we have our new work plane. First thing I want to learn work plane is this does not necessarily translate to real life. So whatever you see on here, it might look bigger or smaller than it'll actually be in real life. We'll calculate that out afterwards to make sure that it's the right size. First thing you're going to do is reach all the way over to the right side and see what says basic shapes. You see all your basic shapes over here. Within your basic shapes, you want to grab the cylinder. See this one here? It's an orange cylinder. We're going to grab our cylinder and we're going to put it in the middle. It doesn't need to be exactly in the middle. It's just going to be relatively in the middle. Now, we're going to take our cylinder and we want to try to make it smoother. So over here we have a few settings about our cylinder. Settings are how we can manipulate what the piece is. So we're going to take the cylinder, we're going to slide this all the way up to the top, 64. So what does 64 mean? This means the amount of triangles. You guys don't need to remember it. Just follow along. Slide up to 64. So now we have our cylinder. It looks pretty smooth around the edge. Yeah. And if you guys want to follow the way I do that is, if you want to go and look at something closer, you use your scroll wheel. Scrolling up goes closer. Scrolling back moves further away. Now we have our cylinder. Next thing we want to do is we want to see our cylinder from different sides. We always need to look at things from different sides to make sure it's looking right. So if we grab this box here, we left click on this box, left click, and then while holding down the left click, move the box left and right and up and down, and we can see all different sides of our cylinder. Next thing we want to do is we're going to grab the ball or sphere. Grab the sphere. Again, we left click on the sphere and we pull it all the way into our work plane. Now once we have the sphere, we can change the steps, making the sphere look more round or less round. And for this, I want to make it at 8. 8 is good. And now let's say I want to see the right now we have our focus on the cylinder. That's where we started. But if I want to put my focus on the sphere, I press the button F. F will focus in on whatever it is you're touching, whatever you selected. So now let's say I want to look at the cylinder now. I'll click on the cylinder, press F. Now I'm focused on the cylinder. And whatever you're focused on is what this box will go around, what you'll be able to see. And also change what options you can select. So let's go back to our sphere. I'm going to left click on the sphere, press F to focus, and now we're looking at our sphere. We're going to take this sphere, and now we have it set at 8. We're going to use it to form sort of the design of our leichter. So the first thing I want to do is if you hover over, take your mouse to hover over any of these little white squares, or even the little black squares. It tells you the distance of the length or width of the item. Right, so like you do the same thing with the cylinder, length or width. You can see both length and width. And if you see this little one over here that looks like it's floating in nowhere, that's the height. Height, length, and width. So this is 20 millimeters. We're using millimeters here. For Kindle who are outside of the United States, they probably know already what millimeters are. But Kindle in the United States, millimeters are a different way of measuring things, and a lot of scientists use them as the standard way of measuring. Just the way to think about it is 1 millimeter is like about 1/24th of an inch, about. Alright, so if I have something that's 24 millimeters, let's stretch this. Let's line this already. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna left click on this thing. See right? I'm hovering over it, and it turns red. I'm gonna left click on it. I'm gonna move my mouse up, and as I'm moving it, see the number is going up. I'm very slowly moving it up, very slowly moving my mouse. I can bring this up and down. I can quickly move my mouse, make it jump around. But I see the numbers changing. See the number change now 33. Now it's 29. Now it's 19. I want to move it till it is 24. That's one way to do it. There's another trick you can do. Let's say I click on this, I left click and I let go. Then this number is still hovering over here. I can left click on this number, and I can just write in the number. So let's put in 78. It's going to be really big right now. Boom, all the way to the position line. Now I want to put it back to 24 because that's what I want it to be around. But 24 and 24 millimeters is about an inch. So this will now be about an inch tall. I now want to make it a little skinnier, so let's change the width and the depth. The width, I want to make it, let's put it at 16. I want to use a lot of even numbers here, 16. And now if you look at this from the top, I can left click on this where it says top. See when I hover over this, the box, the visualizing box, and here at the top it says top. If I left click on top, it will zoom me to the top. And if I press F again to focus, I'm focused. Whoa, it looks more like an egg shape from the top. So it's a good thing we look at it from a different angle and realize that, oh, it's not, if you look at it from the front, oh, it looks like it's still a cylinder. But if you look at it from the top, ooh, it's more of an egg shape. And we want it to look, completely like a cylinder on all sides. So again, we're going to click on, I'm going to scroll out, zoom out. I'm going to left click on one of these corners. Doesn't matter which corner. I'm going to left click on the bottom right corner. And then I'm going to select the depth. I'm going to also put this one at 16. Right down at 16, 16, and enter. And now we got our cylinder again, which is a little bit skinnier and taller. Now we're going to take our circle, our, ball, which is cut into eighths. And I'm going to press F to focus on it. And now I want to combine these two elements. So what I could do is I could just schlep it over and put them next to each other. And there you go. Mush one to the other and press F to focus. Oh, looks like that. Oops, it's not sticking out of one side. So one way, let's say I want to move it around, but if I left click and I drag it back and forth, it's not getting exactly where I want it to. One way to have more control is, let's stop clicking. I'm going to use the arrow keys on our keyboard. I'm going to click the right arrow because I'm looking at it from the side where right is backwards, and click right arrow, and then click left arrow, and I'm going to keep on going left arrow and right arrow back and forth until it looks like it's in the middle. But is it in the middle on the front? So let's use our visualization box and go back to the front. Let's click on the front, left click on the front, and oh, it looks like it's in there in the middle as well. Now let's go from the top, and the top, we can't really see it because the cylinder started blocking it, but if we zoom out, we can see it's there. Scroll out, zoom out, see it's there. So now we have our cylinder and a ball. But this ball, it's nice over there, but I want it to be a little more pronounced. So I'm gonna make it grow along its length and width. I'm gonna make it 20. Let's go with 26. 26, and then the other depth also to 26. And now the ball, if we look at it from the front, it's short, but it's wide. And now, oops, it's not in the center anymore. So again, we're going to use our left and right arrows. Let's look at it from the left side. And I'll use my left arrow and push it until it looks like it's in the middle. And then we'll go back to the front to make sure. Click on the front, go back to the front. Oh, again, let's use the left arrow. Make sure it's in the middle. Now it's centered in the middle. All right. Now we got this blob on top of a cylinder, which is nice. But we really need our blob towards the bottom in order to get the right look. So I'm going to grab this little triangle on the top. I'm going to left click on the triangle, and I'm going to move it, my mouse very slowly move it downwards. This will drop it down. If you see there's the two numbers here. This says how high it is from where I last touch it. So if I press this backwards button, it'll push it back to where it was, which was one more than where it was. And let's do that again. We're going to left click on the little triangle, wait, let's hover over till it turns red, then we left click on it, and then we'll drag it down. All right, and see there's other number here. This is how far is it from the work plane. So it's -3. That means it's negative is 3 millimeters into space that doesn't exist. So we're gonna have to chop it off later, but we'll do that. We'll do that soon. Right now I moved it down over here to 3, and if I want to also look at the bottom, it's probably covering the bottom. Yep, it's covering the bottom. So left click back to move it around. Let's press F just to make sure we're focused. And now, yeah, it's looking good. So here's something else you could do. Let's say, I did this. Now let's say if I wanted to make another one of these. So I could take another cylinder, and then I could go again and change these numbers to 16, and this one to 16. And then I could again change the sides to 64. And then I could again change this, the height to, let's press F to focus, sorry. And let's change the height to 24. And then I can again pull a ball out, and okay, we're repeating this thing, but this sort of gets really tedious to do this over and over and over, especially if I want to make this thing, it's the same shape going up and up, it gets really annoying. So let's get rid of these two things. I'll left click, hold it down, my left click, hold down and drag, and I get this little red box. See this red box? Whatever is inside the red box will be selected at the same time. Oh, good. So now it says shapes too. That means I have two things selected. There are no options here because the options that exist for the cylinder aren't the same as the ones that exist for the circle. If you have options here, that means you haven't selected two different things. So now I'm going to click on the work plane to unselect. The box goes away. I'm going to in the air, left click, and then drag this red box, select both of these things, and then I'm going to press the backspace or delete button. Press delete. Those two things go away. They're not there anymore. An easier way to get another one of these shapes is to make a copy of it. How do we do that? It's pretty easy. So the first thing you're going to do is we're going to want to combine them. So if you hover over this, it says group. You can hold down the control button and press G. That's one way to do it. Once you've selected something, so we're going to left click to unselect, left click in the work plane. Then I'm going to left click again and drag, make this red box go over both our shapes. Now we have both shapes selected. I'm going to either press this button over here to join them. Now they're one shape. Again, you see they don't have any options underneath because they're one shape. I can press this one over here to ungroup. And now again we have the ball. We have the cylinder. But I want to want them to be together. So I'm going to select both shapes. Then I'm going to hold down Control button and press G. And they are one shape now. Let's press F to focus on it. And now we have this shape. What we can do is we can hold down, again, we can Control button and press C, and then let go. And then we'll hold the Control button and press V. V as in, and we have a copy. Just like that. It makes an exact copy of what we had. Now we can take this copy, and we can hover over the little triangle, drag it up, and then use our arrows, my left arrow, move it to the left so it looks like it's in the middle. That looks about the middle. Let's double check. Let's go to the front. Yeah, it looks like it's in the middle. And we've got this cool double shape. Nice. Once we have that, now we need to make the top of the leichter. To make the top of the leichter, we're going to grab a cone. cone is a little bit more of an advanced shape, but I think you guys are capable of it. So let's grab the cone. Take our cone, or left click on the cone, drag it into our work area, and now we're going to press F to focus on the cone. And remember what size I made these? I made these 26, right? So yeah, and if you need to check, you can see the full width of it is 26. So I'm going to now take the cone, and let's see at the bottom. The bottom is 20. I need it to be a little bit bigger than the width of this piece in order to make sure that it is fully covering. So again, I'm going to take this bottom area, I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the ball, do 26, and over here do 26, and it should be the same size. Now, again, we can also change some of the features about it, so I can change sides. Right now it's 24 sides. If I want it to be really smooth, I can put it all the way up to 64, really smooth. But I think we're good enough with 36. Let's go back to 36. Yeah, and if you don't want to move these things, you can also, again, click on this number. I can just type in 40, or I can, again, click on it, left click, and type 36. Or back to 36. And we can also change using the base radius. The base radius is the bottom side of it. What the computer considers the bottom side, not what we're looking at the bottom side. So when I bring in this cone, well, the part that's on the bottom is the bottom side. Even if I flip this over, that's still considered the bottom side. You'll see what I mean soon. So if I change the base radius to, right now it's at 10, I can zoom it up. Whoa, it's humongous. Really skinny. So let's put it back to 10. The top radius is the point at the top. I can make this also, whoa, humongously big. Or zip it back to 0. We're going to keep it at 0 for our purposes. And the height is 20. This is 20 millimeters. We're going to zoom it up, make it really pointy, or less. And let's put this back. Left click, put it back to 20. So we're going to take our cylinder now. We're going to flip it over. We're going to flip it over, put it upside down because we need to make a place for the leichter. So put the actual candle, I mean. Actually, no, that makes me realize we need a space for the candle. The candles themselves, I want to measure them, and they're about, the one that I'm using are about 1 inch by 1 inch, not the tea lights like candle candles. Now they're one shape. Again, you see they don't have any options underneath because they're one shape. I can press this one over here to ungroup. Another, again, we have the ball, we have the cylinder, but I want to put them, to be together. So I'm going to select both shapes. Then I'm going to hold down Control button and press G, and they are one shape now. Let's press F to focus on it. And now we have this shape. What we can do is we can hold down, again, we can Control button and press C, and then let go. And then we'll hold the Control button and press V. V as in, and we have a copy. Just like that. It makes an exact copy of what we had. Now we can take this copy, and we can hover over the little triangle, drag it up, and then use our arrows, my left arrow, move it to the left so it looks like it's in the middle. That looks about the middle. Let's double check. Let's go to the front. Yeah, it looks like it's in the middle. And we've got this cool double shape. Nice. Once we have that, now we need to make the top of the leichter. To make the top of the leichter, we're going to grab a cone. Yeah, a cone. A cone is a little bit more of an advanced shape, but I think you guys are capable of it. So let's grab the cone. Take our cone, or left click on the cone, drag it into our work area, and now we're going to press F to focus on the cone. And remember what size I made these? I made these 26, right? So yeah, and if you need to check, you can see the full width of it is 26. So I'm going to now take the cone, and let's see at the bottom. The bottom is 20. I need it to be a little bit bigger than the width of this piece in order to make sure that it is fully covering. So again, I'm going to take this bottom area. I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the ball. Do 26, and over here do 26, and it should be the same size. Now, again, we can also change some of the features about it, so I can change sides. Right now it's 24 sides. If I want it to be really smooth, I can put it all the way up to 64. Really smooth. But I think we're good enough with 36. Let's go back to 36. Yeah, and if you don't want to move these things, you can also, again, click on this number. I can just type in 40, or I can, again, click on it, left click, and type 36. Right back to 36. And we also change these things to base radius. The base radius is the bottom side of it. What the computer considers the bottom side, not what we're looking at the bottom side. So when I bring in this cone, well, the part that's on the bottom is the bottom side. Even if I flip this over, that's still considered the bottom side. You'll see what I mean soon. So if I change the base radius to, right now it's at 10, I can zoom it up. Whoa, it's humongous. Really skinny. So let's put it back to 10. The top radius is the point at the top. I can make this also, whoa, humongously big. Or zip it back to 0. We're going to keep it at 0 for our purposes. And the height is 20. This is 20 millimeters. We're going to zoom it up, make it really pointy, or less. And let's put this back. Left click, put it back to 20. So we're going to take our cylinder now. We're going to flip it over. We're going to flip it over, put it upside down because we need to make a place for the lighter. So put the actual candle, I mean. Actually, no, that makes me realize we need a space for the candle. The candles themselves, I want to measure them, and they're about, the one that I'm using are about 1 inch by 1 inch, not the tea lights like candle candles. So again, that's 24. So we need to make sure that the base over here is bigger than 24 with some room to spare. So I'm going to make these 30 by 30. Do 30 by 30. You left click and put in enter the number. And then also we need to be a little bit taller. I'll explain why soon. So I need it to be a little bit taller. I want it to be, let's put it at 26. Left click on this. Alright, click on the number, put it 26. Press enter. We've got this thing. Now we want to flip it. So if you guys see, if you guys look at the shape here, here's another trick you can do. If you right click on the workspace, if you right click and hold down your right click button, and then move around, right click will automatically make you take control of the box over here. So I can either left click on this box and move it around, or I can go into workspace and right click and it'll do the same thing. So I'm going to right click and move it around so I can see what I'm doing here. Now I right click and move around, and I see it looks to be wide enough. But now once I've stopped right clicking, we can see there are these little arrows with curves on them. What are these arrows with curves on them? And when I hover over the arrows with curves, it shows this like clock sort of thing. What these are rotation arrows. It shows you which direction you can rotate your item. So we're going to rotate it on this angle. You can use this one or this one, but I can see this one clear. So I'm going to use this rotation arrow. I'm going to left click on the arrow, left click on it, and once you do that, see everything else disappears. Then I'm going to move my mouse to the left, and it starts tilting it. I'm going to move my mouse all the way, and see this box here, the box here that shows the number? That is not millimeters, that is angle. That is the angle that you are bending it at. And I want to bend it at an turn angle of 180. 180 degrees, these are degrees. 180 degrees, negative 180 degrees means flipped over on its head. Now it's absolutely the opposite direction that it was before. Made it do a 180. And you could put in, and you could also, again, you could left click on this, and you can put in whatever number you want, and that's the degrees it'll make it flip. So I could put in 125, and it'll be at this weird angle like that. But now I want it at negative 180. That's where we at. So we're going to do that. Now I'm going to left click on the surface to get out of the rotation. And again, I'm going to left click on this item, and I'm going to schlep it over to next to our main lighter piece. Then I'm going to hover over the little triangle on top, and left click on that, then schlep it all the way up. Let's put it about halfway up. I can't really see it, so again, let's press F to focus. Good. Let's click this little triangle. Let's schlep it up till it's about, looks like it's like halfway into the top of our main lighter step. Now let's press F again to focus. Let's left click on the front, see if you're looking at the front. Oh, looks good. Looks like halfway there. But now we want it to be in the middle of our main lighter section. So we're going to left click on our main lighter section, and we're going to press F to focus on it. Now we're going to go click on our cone, and then we're going to press the left arrow in order to move it into place. Make sure it's over there, and it's covering all over. And now we're going to go and check other angles to make sure we didn't make a mistake. It only did it on one side. And now I'm going to left click on this box. We're going to move it around. Or we can right click in the middle of nowhere, move around. And it looks like it is covering from all angles. That's great. That's great. Exactly what we wanted. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now we want to make we want to make a space for the actual candle. We need a place that you can actually put the candle in. So we're going to grab this cylinder over here. See this cylinder and this cylinder? What? They're both cylinders. The same thing. One big difference. You saw over here, we've had this option of solid and hole. So if we do solid, it's a solid piece. If I do hole, that means it's going to make a hole once I unite these together. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it happens. What happens there? I selected all the things. I selected our top shape, and I selected our cone, which I just made into a hole. All right, I clicked on the hole button. Now I'm going to again make a big red box. Select everything, and then I'm going to do Control G group. Once you Control G group, well, where'd the cone go? Well, the cone now they made into a hole means it's going to cut away. So now we have this like cone-shaped hole in the top. That's not what we wanted. So let's do ungroup, and let's left click it to nowhere, and we're going to click back on the cone. I'm going to turn it into a solid. That's what I want. I want it to be solid. And again, I'm going to make my big red box, select everything, and I'm going to group. Nice. Now they're all one thing. They're all orange, and they're all orange just because that's the default. We can change it any color. Like if you like looking at it in a different color, like pink, or let's change it to, I don't know, green. Yeah, you could change it. It doesn't matter. You can make it whatever color you want. Now we're going to go over here, get the cylinder that is a hole. Right? It's taking up negative space. It's going to cut away at pieces. We're going to bring that into the work area. Now we're going to take this cylinder, and again, I want to make it about an inch on each side. So I'm going to put this at 24, and this one at 24. And now we got to do some important measuring. So now we're going to click on our main leichter stem, and we're gonna hover over the top little square, which is the height square, and it says 61. That means it's 61 millimeters tall. And I want to make a hole that is 10 millimeters deep. So if I'm going to make a 10 millimeter deep hole, that means I need to take this cylinder. I'm going to left click on the move up and move it up to where it says, what is it? So since it's 3 millimeters, the main stem is 3 millimeters below. So 3 millimeters plus, 61 minus 3 is 58. So I'm going to move this cylinder up till it's 58. Now it should be the same height as our leichter stem. Alright, so I'm going to move this up to left. I left click on the little arrow, and I moved it up till it's 51. Again, you could if you want. Let's go back. Let's do the more accurate way. So let's left click on this little triangle. We're going to start moving it up. Once we already see this screen, we're going to the height difference. We're going to click on this height, and we're going to at the bottom. We're going to type in 58, and now it is at the same height as our leichter stem. And now I'm going to press the left arrow to move it over to be focused right on top. And you see how it makes this sort of like weird line area? That means that they're almost touching. Move it over here to be about the middle. And then I'm going to press the down arrow to get it sort of center. To make sure it's absolutely in the center, I'm going to click on the leichter stem. I'm going to press F. Then I'm going to click on left click on the box, the view box, which says top. And now I see that this cylinder, which I just put here, does look like it's in the middle. If I left click on the negative cylinder, I'm going to click over here on negative cylinder, where it's that little place where they're not touching. And it seems that the centers are in the same space. That's good. That's what we want. Now I'm going to press F to focus on that cylinder, and I'm going to drop it 10 millimeters. So I'm going to again left click this little arrow here on the top, move it down a little bit, and here it says -1. I'm going to left click on that and write negative 10. Press enter, and it is exactly 10 down. Uh-oh! It's going all the way through. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. It's going to cut through and ruin our whole thing. Sometimes this happens. We make mistakes. That's okay. So, I'm going to left click on our main leichter body, press F, and then I'm going to grow our leichter body. Sometimes we need to grow the bottom portion. So let's grow it. Let's grow it so that it is bigger. We're gonna left click on this corner over here, and we can just drag it out till that is not interfering anymore. Remember, we want to keep it looking round. So let's make sure these numbers are the same. 40 looks to be about good. So I have 40 over here. Now I'm going to left click on this bottom one and type in 40. Press enter. Now it's 40 by 40. But if we go back to the top, whoa, it's not centered anymore. So we got to center it. So again, we're going to use my up arrow and left arrow, up and left, up and left, up and left, up and left. Oops, yeah, down, right. Now let's double check. Let's go to the top. Left click on the top. And is it centered? It's almost centered. Let's move it one more to the top, one more to the right. No, just one more to the top. Now I left click on this negative, left click on positive. Oh, no, it looks like it is centered. Yeah, that's good. All right, now we have this negative space over here. We can go and left click in the middle of nowhere, drag, make this red box. Yes, so we'll make this, again, let's do the drag and make this bigger box, select both shapes, left click, and now we go over to group them together, and we've got our nice hole there to make sure that we can fit in our candle. But we still have the problem at the bottom. The bottom still has a bump that's going to make your leichter roll over and be a big sakana. So we got to delete that. Now again, we're going to go over to the right over here and see that there is a box, right? There's two boxes, but what is with this box? What do you guys think this box is for? Yeah, exactly. It's a negative box, right? This box is going to take away material. So we're going to bring this box into our work plane. I'm going to left click move around, or right click in the middle of nowhere to move around, see where it is. I want to put it next to one of the corners. And now I want to see, wait, how tall is this box? It says, if I hover over here, it says it's 20 millimeters tall. And that would mean if I left click on this arrow and I drop it to negative 20, or let's just click in here and type in negative 20, it will be exactly at the bottom of the workspace, meaning it'll cut off anything that is lower than the work plane. Then I'm going to click on this arrow over here, that's the corner closest to our leichter, drag it all the way over. It doesn't matter how big it is, it just needs to make sure it covers the entire surface area of the bottom of the leichter. Now we have these two items together. Again, I'm going to left click in the middle of nowhere, drag a big red box, select both items, it says shapes 2, left click here to group, and we have our leichter. Our leichter is done. Now if you click over here, your name should probably be some weird thing. You can name it to my leichter employees. Let's do underscore leichter, and you could name it your name leichter over here, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. You can name it whatever you want. You can call it Oogly Boogly. That would be a very strange name for a leichter, but you could do all of that. And then you'll click over here in TinkerCad, and it will automatically save it for you. Next lesson, I'm going to show you how to download your leichter. Over here, I already downloaded mine. I'm showing you how to download it and prepare it for 3D printing. Enjoy Kindlech. Remember, Hashem gave you a lot of kids. Use them.